BeCozi.com is here. BeCozi.com and BeCozi.net is the same website. It's an American website with the biggest collection of chunky yarns in the United States. We are making these videos to promote our yarn, and today I will be making this beautiful cable knit blanket with our silver gray color. We call it silver gray or lavender gray because it has a little bit of a lavender hue. So look at this beautiful pattern. We are calling it cable in the middle because there is only one cable, but it looks really beautiful. And I will be using 5 skeins of silver or lavender gray for this small size blanket. It's a very small blanket. It's like 30 by 50. If you need a bigger size, it will be medium size, and you will need 7 skeins. Also, make sure to check our new yarn, tie-dye yarn. It's a custom-made yarn you will not find in any craft store. This is Flower Garden, this is Faded Denim, and this is Cotton Candy and beautiful Seafoam. We have 4 other colors, so go to BeCozi.com and find them. Also, I have this new video tutorial showing how to make the sleepy cat. So go to BeCozi.com and find this video and tutorial. It's for sale. So if you have our yarn ready, our silver gray or any other color, and you're ready to make this cable knit blanket, let's get started. Okay guys, let's get started. We will be using this beautiful color, as I said, silver gray. We also call it lavender gray because it has a little bit of lavender hue. And we will be using 5 skeins for this size. It's a small size. If you want a bigger size, you will need 7 skeins and a little bit different pattern, which I will write underneath this video, okay, for the size 40 by 60. So what are we doing to start? Place the yarn in front of you, and this is the tail, this is working yarn. Now we will make a knot on the end of the yarn, and we will cut the tail near the knot like that, close to the knot. This will prevent the yarn from unraveling. So now place it in front of you like that. The working yarn goes on the top like that. You're making a loop, and then you're inserting your hand inside the loop, grab working yarn and pull it out like that. So you just made your first stitch, and we will make it a little bit smaller by pulling working yarn down. It should be about an inch, a little bit over an inch wide or big. So what are we doing now? Now we are making a chain of 20 stitches. So insert your hand, grab working yarn and pull it out. So this is our second stitch. You see the same, approximately the same size. So that will be our goal, to make them all the same size. So press the bottom of the second stitch, insert your hand, grab working yarn, and pull out the third stitch. So now we have 3, and we will keep doing this way, casting on this way, a chain of 20 stitches. Okay, let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. We have 20 stitches. So what are we doing now, guys? We are turning this chain on another side like that. Working yarn goes on the back, and we are pulling out the first row. So this is our first stitch. And for this stitch, you're going from underneath like that. You're going from underneath, inserting your fingers, and then you're grabbing this working yarn and you're pulling it through the stitch. So this will be your first stitch, guys, okay? So now starting from the second stitch, we will be pulling out stitches or middle part of the stitch over here. So we have first stitch out, and now we will be using middle part of every stitch, not the top, not the bottom, but the middle part. So we will lift it, then we will insert our fingers, grab working yarn, and pull it out. So we now have 2 stitches. Now find another second or third actually stitch, lift it, and grab working yarn and pull it out. So that's what we will be doing for all 20 stitches. We're just pulling out the first row. We are not starting our pattern just yet. I will start it from the second row. This way blanket looks neat and beautiful on the bottom. It's possible to start it on the bottom, the pattern, but I prefer to do it starting with the second row. So this pattern, cable knit pattern, will be a little bit different than the one that the video I created many years ago, like probably 4 or 5 years ago. So this one will have cable only in the middle. My other video had 3 cables alone. So for this one, we are doing the next stitches. So we are knitting the first stitch. Working yarn goes on the back again, only this time to the right. We are inserting our hand inside the stitch, then grabbing working yarn and pulling it out. This is our first stitch. Now we will be purling 2 stitches. So these 2 stitches, now yarn goes up front. When we're knitting stitches, it's on the back. When we're purling, it goes up front. Take the stitch and then push this yarn through like that. 1, and then second the same way, holding the stitch and pushing the yarn through the stitch. So 2 stitches. Now next 2 stitches will be knitted stitches. So yarn goes on the back. We are inserting our fingers inside the stitch, grab working yarn, pull it out. And the second stitch the same way. So we had knit, purl, purl, knit, knit. What we are doing with 3, next one, we are purling those 3 stitches, guys. 1, 2, 3. Yarn goes up front, hold the stitch, push the yarn through. 1, 2, 3. Now next 4 stitches we are knitting. This will be 4 stitches for our cable in the middle. So insert your fingers, grab working yarn, pull it out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next 3 stitches purling. 1, 2, 3. Next 2 knitting. So we're repeating like a mirror the left part, only on the right. Then purl 2, and then 1 last we are knitting. So this is, guys, the whole pattern like that. We will be knitting for 7 rows before we're making a cable in the middle. So starting this row, we will be skipping the first stitch. So we just knitted it, and now it's just sitting here, and we're going directly to the purl stitches. So this time we're going from the right to the left, but the same way I'm keeping or holding the stitch with my left hand, and I'm pushing yarn through with my right hand. Okay, the same way as we were doing this direction. Then the next stitch, the same purl stitch. So you can easily see, so it's kind of maybe hard to make first row, but now you can see where you're knitting and where you are purling. These knitted stitches, they look like little chains. The purl stitches look with the bump, they have the bump on the top. So these are knitted stitches. So we're inserting our hand and we are knitting them. These 3 are purled, see these 3 bumps. So we are simply purling this 3. Next, you can see that these 4 knitted stitches, we are knitting them. And next 3 purl, the same way on the left as on the right. 3 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl, 1 knit. And when we are done with this row, we are knitting this. See, it's knitted, so we're knitting the last stitch, and in the next row we are skipping it again. So as I said, starting with what was it, second, it is the 3rd row, we are skipping stitches on each side. It will give us this beautiful chain on each side, the same as we will have on the bottom and later on the top. So the stitch is simply sitting here, you're not doing anything to it, and then we are purling too. So we're simply following the pattern, looking at the stitches, and we're knitting knitted one and purled one. So as I said, we will be doing it for 7 rows. So when I have 7 rows knitted of this pattern, I will come back and I will show you how to make a cable. Okay guys, so we have 7 rows. So for now you can see that the stitches look similar here, here and here. It's just knitted stitches. But now we will make a cable here in the middle. And to make a cable, we first need to knit the same way up to the middle. So we're skipping first stitch. We are purling 2 next. We are knitting this 2 and then purling this 3. So you can see the pattern. It's easy to see where you need to do what stitches. Now, this 4 stitches. The yarn goes on the back. We are first knitting this 2 and then this 2. So this 2 goes on the top like that, and then you kind of pull in yarn a little bit closer, or the bottom of the blanket, and then you are knitting these 2 second stitches. So this is working yarn, grab working yarn and knit it, first stitch and then second. So what do we do now? We have 2 stitches hanging here, and these 2 were knitted. So you hold this and then take these 2 and place them on the top like that. And now we will knit second and then first. So second and then first. So we just made a cable twist. Okay? So now we are simply purling 3 stitches, the same as our pattern shows. And then on the way back, we will be simply knitting those 4 stitches that we just twisted. So this is our last stitch. It's knitted. See, the chain is forming here. Then you're hanging it here. It's sitting. You are purling 2 next stitches. You are knitting 2 stitches. Now we are purling 3, and I will show you what to do with this twisted stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that you are knitting them one by one the way they are laying here. So this 2 and now this 2. Make sure that you are knitting all 4 of them because they're kind of twisted. It's hard to see them, so don't skip any or don't miss any. So now we're purling 3. And we're going to the back of the row, and now we will be knitting 7 rows again before we will make another cable. And before I will go, I will show you how I connect because I am out of the yarn. So let's take another skein, this beautiful lavender gray. I usually make a simple knot to connect the yarn, guys. There are other ways, and sometimes I'm using them, but in most cases I'm making a simple knot. And then I'm pulling yarn in both directions until you can feel that there is nowhere to pull. And then you're cutting these tails close to the knot, and that's pretty much it. So the yarn is connected, it's not, this knot is not seen on the finished blanket. Now that's how you connect chenille yarn. And now I will keep knitting for 7 more rows, and then I will come back and I will show you one more cable, and then we will go from there. Okay guys, I made 6 rows, and I told you 7 is because number 7 row was the area where we made the cable. So you can count the stitches from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, the 7 we made the twist. So now from this area where it's 7 and we made a twist, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you remember, we made the twist going from the left to the right. We need to keep it this way, because then the cable will be, all cables will be to the right. If we will make row number 7, then the next cable will go to the left, and it's absolutely fine. It's just a little bit different pattern. When the cable goes as a snake, then you're making 7 rows and you're starting cable from the right. If you want all cables to go from the left to the right, as I'm showing you, then first 7 rows, and then you're making a cable twist. And now we're making 6 rows, and cable should always be when we're knitting from the left to the right, okay? So I'm knitting my row number 7, and here we will be making a twist. Okay, so 6 and row number 7 where twist is. It was the same here. So the same way this 2 goes up front, and we are knitting this 2. So you're inserting your fingers in this stitch, it's number 3, and then you're kind of pulling it close to this stitch, and you are making a simple knitting stitch. Then you're doing the same with this guy. We have 2 knitted stitches. Now we have these 2 hanging. We're holding this and we're pulling this 2 here. And now we are knitting them 1 and 2. So then you can actually kind of spread them nicely, and then you can return back to your pattern. So remember, 6 rows, and on the row number 7 we are making a cable twist. And let me show you one more time. When the twist is done, it's kind of a little bit tricky because they are not laying like regular stitches, so make sure that, see, they're kind of like crumbled here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how you are knitting them. 1, 2, and then this hiding on the back. Don't miss it. 3 and 4. And now you can easily see this beautiful cable that will be going from the left to the right in every 7th row. Okay, so now I will just keep knitting this pattern, guys. 6 rows, row number 7, a twist, a cable in the middle, and these 2 knitted stitches and these 2 knitted stitches, they are staying knitted, and this gives this beautiful pattern. So cable in the middle. So I have 3 more skeins. When I am done with 3 more skeins, I will come back and I will show you how to finish it. Okay guys, so we used all 5 skeins of our beautiful lavender gray. So look at this beautiful pattern. We have 2 knitted stitches going on the left and on the right. We have beautiful chain on each side. And now we will create another chain on the very top of the blanket by casting off. For casting off, I am leaving about 3.5 to 4 widths of the blanket. So the yarn, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that will be enough to cast on. And to cast off. And to cast off, we are placing the yarn again on the back. We're taking 2 of our stitches together, and we are grabbing working yarn and pulling it through the 2 stitches. And before I go any further, you can do it the same way from this side or from the left side. It's a very identical process. You are taking 2 stitches together at a time, grabbing working yarn and pulling it through. This way you will have this beautiful chain, one more chain, the 4th one on the top of the blanket. And that is how you finishing your blanket on the top. Okay guys, so we have a few more stitches left. So we're going all the way to the last 2, and then we're knitting 2 together like that. Now we are taking this tail and we're going inside the last stitch, and then we are pulling it like that. And here we are done with our blanket. So what I'm doing now, I will make a knot with the tail. I will cut the yarn close to it, so this is the tail on the top. And now I will go underneath this chain to hide this piece of yarn. You can cut it shorter if you want, or keep it this way, it doesn't matter. And then just go back and forth underneath the chain to hide it. Then little tail goes underneath any stitches on the back. You can sew it if you want, or it will just stuck here. It will be holding very nicely. And here our beautiful blanket is done. We will go to the bottom and do the same with this. We'll go underneath the chain, up and down, and then on the back, hide it underneath or weave it in underneath any stitches like that. So this beautiful blanket is 30 by 50, and we used 5 skeins of silver gray color. You can find it at BeCozi.net. We have 46 colors of straight colors. We have variegated. We have new tie-dye chenille. Go to BeCozi.com and check it out. Stay warm and be cozy.
Hey guys, my hand knitting book is ready for you to purchase. It can be purchased at BeCozi.com and on Amazon, and also available as a Kindle. It's a perfect gift for yourself or your loved one. It's the most unique gift and book on the knitting market.